Boredom is, for me, I think, a feeling that I can't achieve any more out of the thing that I'm doing. Or it's not stimulating my thinking about something, or it's not...
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. I've got nothing more to learn out of that. Or I've experienced that. Yeah, we're just going around in a circle now. Yeah, been here, done that. What's next? Yeah, what's the next thing?
And what's failure? What does failure mean to you? Maybe that's a better question to ask you. What does failure mean to you?
I guess someone asked me this the other day, actually. They said, what do you fear the most about hollering into the void? Like, what is the fear? And I guess it's, if you're a performer or in the entertainment area of any kind, that it would be not having anyone listen or watch, wouldn't it? I mean, you do it for an audience, and if you don't have anyone who wants to watch it, then probably that.
Yes.
I guess.
Do you think there's some sort of freedom in people not watching?
I don't know. You kind of... It's certainly in the fieldwork I've been doing in the last few months, where, like you, I've just gone, you know what, I'm not interested in strategies at the moment. I just want to put my stuff out there, and I just want to explore what it is. I don't really care about any of that. That's certainly been liberating, and it's been awesome. But there probably does come a point where you go, all right, I'd really like to show someone this now. I'd really like to see if what I'm trying to make is having the right effect, if I'm getting the gag, or if I'm doing this or I'm doing that. So eventually you probably come to a point where you go, well, I need that audience to look at me. So there is a freedom in not worrying about them at all, but there probably comes a point where you go, well, I need them to watch now. Otherwise, you are just hollering into the storm, aren't you? Just screaming into the piss and wind of the cyclone that's bearing down on you, going, hoping you can change it with your voice.
We have Michael here. Michael, I always fuck up guests' names every time. What's your last name?
Last name, Alan.
Yeah. Alan, sorry, Michael.
That's all right.
It's actually a test of the ego. It's a way of consulting your attitude straight up the front.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Michael Allen. Michael Allen Productions, is that right?
Yeah, I know. Talk about ego. I named it after me. I thought about creating a wanky name, and then someone just said, yeah, but then you've just got to introduce yourself as Michael Allen from Wanky Name. So you may as well just call it Michael Allen, and then they know who they're talking to, and they go, oh, right, you're the name. So I went, oh, okay, that works. Yep. Productions is probably a bit wanky. It makes me sound a little bit like I'm opening something at the Palais or something next week, but it's not quite as august as that.
You're doing a PhD in anthropology, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm halfway through my fieldwork in a PhD of anthropology, and I'm specifically researching the transition of live theatre into an online sort of dimension, an online world.
Fantastic. So you're bridging the gap between reality.
Yeah, I call it, the thesis is even called Theatre of the Fourth Dimension, because it really is, it's performance in the dimension that is of the internet, whatever the hell that is. That's more than what people have been doing. That's the beauty of a PhD, you just go out and investigate and see what's there.
And fourth dimension, so a lot of that, is that like breaking down the fourth wall that they talk about in theatre?
A little bit of that, yeah. It's a whole other world of relating to your audience and performing to your audience. Because conventionally, you just sit in a theatre and you watch what's going on, the act that's going on, and they sit quietly and stuff. But online, it's all about communicating with the people who are watching and comment threads and talking to them. And there's this whole other level of interaction that goes on with your audience. And as I've found working with the actors as well, is that there's this... It's not quite a film style of acting technique, because you often work into a camera, so there's a bit of that. Yep. But then those actors are aware of what's happening in the room at the time and what's happening with the audience watching at the time, so their sense of awareness of who they're performing to and when it shifts as well. So it's a bit of a hybrid between theatre performance and film performance for the actor. So there's a lot of different sort of features. That's just what we're trying to figure out. What is it? How does it work? What doesn't work? Yeah.
Right, I'm finding a lot of that with the podcast as well. Like, some of my best content is when the guests or even myself don't know that we're recording, and because we knew that we were being recorded, it just affected our performance a little bit.
Yeah, it does. In fact, there's a really good example I had with an actor the other day. We were experimenting. She was in her house, and we were experimenting with different ways that she could record herself and then stream it into the broadcast feed. And then, so we were doing it like on FaceTime or something, and it was coming into my computer, and then I would put it through my software and broadcast it. And she knew that was live, that was going out to a live stream.
Yep.
But she was just sitting there having a conversation with me, and we were just working through stuff. And then we tried another one where she did a Facebook Live post, and I got that up on my computer and captured it and put it in. But the difference was that when she was on Facebook Live, she could see immediately who was watching, and people were commenting to her and talking to her, and she'd have to talk back to them. And all of a sudden, she said there was like a shift. It was like it felt more alive than being on stage, because she was intimately aware of people watching her. You know you're live and it's kind of in the background, or you know you're live and you're performing and you switch on. You know, in some respects, the audience doesn't even really care. Yeah. They just want to watch what you're doing anyway, but it affects what you do. And yeah, it's really, that's what I mean by that fourth dimension stuff, because it's like it adds another level of reality to whatever you're actually doing. And so how does that work? I don't know.
And in her case, she fed off it?
Yeah, I think it was a real realisation that performing live online can still have that visceral kind of, oh, fuck, I'm, you know, like on stage with the spotlight on me, 500 people watching, come on, dance, entertain me. Like, it really had that feeling of, oh, I'm in the spotlight and I don't know my lines and my pants are doing around my ankles. What do I do? I've got to entertain someone, start shuffling your feet. So it really did switch it up for her in that sense. And that she's now, something switched in her that day, because she's gone off and started creating an online profile for her character, and she's doing more performance for it and stuff. Like, something really clicked for her that day. She did that.
Do you think people are going to stop going to see live theatre?
No.
It'll always be there?
It's not. A lot of people have asked me if it's caused that effect, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to be its own unique style. Yep. People will always want to be in the room with the comedian, or be in the room and watch the sweat or whatever. That won't ever change.
They'll just be checking in and just telling all their friends that they have gone out.
Yeah, exactly. But the online performing experience is different. Again, it's for different people. One of the reasons I got into it in the first place is that I realised that I was doing a show on the Fringe, and there were a whole heap of mates I had from overseas who weren't going to be here to watch it, and I wanted to show them the new show that I'd done. So I streamed it out there. But what I found out inadvertently is that I was getting disabled people watching it who couldn't get out of their home. I was getting people in regional communities who lived out in the sticks. People who were just like housewives and stuff, home cooking, you know, they're watching the show on their iPad at the kitchen table while they're making dinner for the kids. I suddenly realised that there's people out there who want to watch stuff, but for whatever reason they just can't. So I think it was that sort of got me into it. Well, what do they want to watch? How do they want to watch it? It would never replace conventional 4,000-year-old version of whatever we've got. Yeah, it'll be a new thing of its own, whatever it is yet.
All right, so get really boring. How did theatre originally start? It was in Greece, wasn't it?
Yeah, the version that we know with a proscenium arch and an auditorium and everyone sitting there, that goes back to the Greeks. But every culture has got its own version of performance, and they're all the same. There's that space, that empty space where it's either around a fireplace or on a stage or whatever, and then someone does something and we all sit around and watch. I mean, Buto and Kabuki in Japan have got no relationship to Greek theatre at all, and yet they all still set it up the same way. So the modern sort of version of the narrative play and the hero and the tragedy and the drama, that all comes from the Greek stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So why do you think we role play? Why do we put on these little shows?
That's a good question.
I guess I'm asking myself this. Sorry, Michael.
No, it's fine.
I'll cut out any shit as well. So
might not be left with much by the time we cut it.
Snap. Yeah, especially I'm finding with this podcast, a lot of people are putting on characters. Yeah. Like you're coming on as yourself, and I'm pretty much myself because I'm the attitude consultant 24/7.
Yeah.
But some people have come under the guises of characters, and what that's actually done is given them freedom just to say what they want to say, but don't have the courage or not allowed to say it.
Yeah, no, I think back to one of the first characters or parts I got given in school when I was first being exposed to drama.
Yeah.
And school for me was a playground of different social groups and bullies and all the rest of it that you had to avoid. And I remember this one particular play, I was given the character of a bully who bullies a kid in the play to the point where they go and kill themselves. And I got to wear a leather jacket and I got to wear jeans, I got to say all the tough lines, and I got to be all the people that I was afraid of during the day in my daily life. And all of a sudden, I just kind of went, wow, people are listening to me, people are sitting there, they're giving me applause for it. In fact, a few days after that, because we did a show to the student body, and a few days later, one of the kids who was a regular bully of mine saw me in the shopping centre and yelled out my character's name. Like, he didn't even know my real name, yelled out my character's name. And I thought, oh, fuck, here we go, he's going to get me again. And he just went, good on you, mate, well done, great show. And I went, what the hell's this about? Like, what's going on here? Any other day of the week, you'd just punch me in the head without even thinking about it. But all of a sudden, you can give me the thumbs up. So I think there is something about that. You put on a persona, you can be, you can do things and say things that you can't normally. You're allowed to because you're in character to break the social rules and all of that sort of
for sure.
stuff. Yeah, definitely. We still love that.
And that instant buzz that you got on stage, was that addictive? Is that...
Yeah, people shut up and listen to you.
Yeah, I've got attention at the moment.
Yeah. And when you make people laugh, I mean, you'd know it too. When you make people laugh, it makes you feel good. Yeah. You got a gag and you made them feel good. There's that whole relationship thing going.
Yeah, for sure.
So... yeah, it is that kind of a little junky hit. You want to go back for another one.
And what you were saying before about disabled people finally being able to have access to your content, how much of helping other people drives you to do what you do? Yeah, well, probably now you've made me think about it. You've probably hit the nail on the head in that a lot of the work I do is I teach kids drama. I work with a lot of minority groups. My master's was on an autistic theatre company, and it was about following how they got a sense of agency and empowerment from the fact that they could be on stage. I think you could probably follow a thread throughout the projects of my work that tries to give a voice to people who don't normally get a chance to speak. Whether that's the character who, a play I directed a few years ago was the character of a middle-aged mum who had an abortion. And it was like, when I was talking to the author about it, it was like, something like, I think the statistics were like 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 women will have to face the choice of whether they have an abortion or not in their life. But it's something that no one talks about. And it's like, that stuff really interests me, is that here's a place where you are allowed to talk about the things no one talks about. Characters who don't have a voice or feel disempowered can get up and have a say. I've seen it time and time again. I did a project out in the Youth Detention Centre last year, working with those young kids in juvie. It's a palpable thing you can see when they're allowed to stand up and say what they think about something, authority or whatever it is, and they don't get shut down for it. They don't get told to be quiet. The people that they're talking to are actually the audience, and they have to sit there and listen to it. And I think there probably is a thread of that runs through. Okay, so to create that platform, has it ever escalated into argument? How do you mean, like giving people that freedom and that free voice to express themselves? Have you ever been in a situation where an argument has escalated because of that? Not personally. I've known of people in projects that I've done who have, gone home to the parents afterwards and had a bit of a debate about the content of the show. That can have positive and negative outcomes depending on the people involved. Yeah. But I think most of us would probably say, isn't that what we kind of want from our work too? That people don't just walk out and go, that was nice, let's get a pizza. They walk out and they go, actually, I disagree with that, or I agree with that, So I have heard of it with other people. I haven't been involved in many of them. Sorry, I don't mean to break it down. Maybe we could do a SWOT analysis on it after. Yeah, that's right.
A Venn diagram all overlaid.
While we're on it as well, sorry, I didn't actually realise the interview had started. That's what I like about it.
Right.
So welcome to the Miley Lounge. I have to point that
I
out.
love the Miley Lounge. I must confess, I like following your Miley stuff because you're one of the few. It's like you put it out there, and I feel like I'm allowed to like it too. Like I'm allowed to go, yeah, I actually do like Miley. But I don't feel like I can say it now because someone else has put it up there for me.
Yeah, no worries. So you're in the Miley Lounge. You're sitting on the FAP couch at the moment. Yep. So
a big fat couch looking at Miley.
No, the FAP couch.
Oh, the FAP couch.
Yeah. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, there's a line there about looking at Miley on a fat couch, but...
Yeah, no, it's not a FAP couch.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's a couple of things I do have to make you aware of as well.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know that the toilets are located over here.
Right, down the corridor.
Down the corridor as well. The fire exits, please make note of that.
You've got 3 of them.
We've got 3 fire exits. Yep, I am the registered fire warden. As well.
Okay, yeah. So the helmet. Oh, yes, you've even got a hazard vest.
I've got the hazard vest as well. Fantastic. Because we're going through constructions at the moment.
Yeah, right.
So it's important safety first, as they say.
Yeah. So don't light the cigarette near the Caro. Kind of. I'll just put it out in this tin instead.
Yeah. It's actually supposed to be barricaded up out here because we're getting the balconies redone.
Oh, okay.
Just costing me a fucking fortune.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, but they blocked me in, which is interesting because I was just getting out of a wheelchair.
So you were progressing out of a wheelchair.
Yes.
You're the designated fire warden.
Yes.
And they blocked one of the exits.
They blocked one of the exits.
That sounds like a committee organised that.
Yeah, the committee did organise that.
Yeah.
Mate.
Who was it? I think Winston Churchill said no one ever built a statue to a committee. You know? Perfect.
Yeah.
You don't see a statue in the parklands of 6 old people sitting around voting on an amendment. You know, this statue represents the subcommittee of the board of infrastructure voting on guttering for the local parklands. I'm loving it. It's looking good. I could rest well in Miley Land.
Yes.
In fact, I might take a photo for myself later.
Yeah, you could take a photo.
Would that be pervy?
No, not at all. Please take a photo. And what you choose to do with that photo is completely up to you.
It's like Miley. Look at that. There's an animation of Miley with Miley.
Yeah.
It's just so much layered metaphor.
It's. Yeah, my girlfriend, she can't handle that.
Yeah, you don't have a curtain or anything to put over it when she gets here. So, oh shit, she's coming.
It's funny, if you look down there, I've actually got Miley Cyrus bed sheets. Oh. Like it's like that on a bed sheet. Someone on Redbubble has put that together as fan art. And I thought, that's great, I have to have it. So I laid that on the bed sheet, and Nikki, my partner's like, I'm not fucking sleeping on that.
Oh, you should turn it into like a Hugh Hefner smoking jacket and just sort of cut it into the little line with the thing and just wander around with your little, cigarette extender thing, and that can be your Miley smoker's jacket. That'd look awesome.
That'd look good.
That'd be classy.
A lot of people are saying that I need to separate the Miley from the attitude consultant, and then other people are saying I just need to keep throwing it out there. But it's confusing. We were talking about this before. When we start building all these different characters, we lose our sense of identity. Yeah. Do you relate to that?
Yeah, well, especially online, because online is all about creating identity. I mean, from even the smallest Facebook post or tweet, there's an element of you sitting there and constructing how you want it to be read, how you want it to be received. I mean, you really, even if it's a blink of an eye, consider what you're presenting on social media. And if you have multiple personalities or characters or whatever, then I mean, I find it hard enough just to act on social media as myself. How do I want to be presented? Oh my God, did someone read that wrong? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, if I find that going to a job interview.
Yeah.
I'm horrible.
Yeah. And social media is meant to be where you can forget all that shit and just do what you want, but you don't.
Yeah.
You just do it differently. And then is this one crossing over with that one? Nah, fucking the more Miley the better.
More Miley the better, keep it in?
Absolutely.
All right.
Look, she's been quiet for a couple of years. Yeah. So you watch and you've got an investment here because when she comes back to all these groups that, Savage Garden, Smashing Potatoes or whatever they are, they're coming back again.
Yeah.
You're sitting on a gold mine here.
Yeah.
You're the sort of person who will prompt her into another world tour. You know, my fans are still out there. They still want Miley.
She has slowed down a bit, but she still likes to put herself out there. Easter, she did this crazy photo shoot of her just getting spanked by the Easter Bunny.
Oh, where's that?
Yeah, you need to get on Instagram.
Yeah, okay, that's one of the ones I think I'm on, but I don't use.
You don't use it?
I wrote down a list the other day of all the different social media accounts that I'm involved with through me or whatever, and there's something like 15 or something of them, and I just went, fuck, I don't even remember collecting all of those things. Like, oh, that's right, I've got an Instagram account. I haven't used it for like 3 years. Yeah, so I've got them all. I don't know how to use any of them. I don't understand them. I'm not the sort of person who likes, you know, I can't, why would I take a photo of my food? I don't get that. I don't get that.
No.
I mean, you don't walk down the street. I mean, we've been talking for the last hour. We haven't spoken about the last meal we ate and what it looked like.
No, who gives a fuck? No.
Well, so why would you put it online? I don't get it. But people watch it.
It's not about what you do. It's about how many likes you get. Like
exactly,
I made a great curry last night, and I didn't fucking post it. I ate it. It was delicious.
No, see, how is the world going to know? How are you going to feel validated by a bunch of strangers on social media throughout the world that you've never met and never will? How can you possibly feel validated by them unless you tell them that you made a curry? But, you know, I've been looking at this Twitch. Are you familiar with Twitch?
I play a bit of Xbox Live. Gaming.
Do you stream on Twitch?
No, I keep my games offline.
My kids do it now.
Yeah.
My littlest, my 7-year-old, gets on YouTube and she watches this other 8-year-old kid in America just playing games. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But she loves it. I'm like, why don't you play the game and then you could stream it? No, I just want to watch her.
Want to watch it. And another one is watching people unbox things, or like Christmas time. Oh, I've got this gift. Let's watch him unwrap it. Yeah. And I've just discovered the other day it's not as organic as you think it is. My wife came across a behind-the-scenes video of one of these channels, and what they do is they open it first, right, so that they know what they're going to get off camera, and then they put it back in the box and they wrap it up again, and then they film it. Yes. The unwrapping of it. So it's not even spontaneous, ooh, look what I've unpacked. Organic life is premeditated. Yes. I know that I would love to be totally organic with my performances, but no one wants to sit through that shit. I need to be prepared. You'd be surprised what people will watch. There was a guy I follow on Twitch. He's a bit of a gamer, but every week he does some cooking, right? And he's a bit of a hipster and all the rest of it. And he sets up his camera in front of him and he cooks on the bench here and he talks to the people that are chatting to him. And I was just watching it the other day. I thought, there's nothing really happening. And just for shits and giggles, I timed it for about 2 minutes. And I paused it every time, or, you know, calculated every time he didn't say anything, when it was just quiet, when it was just him reading the comment section or just doing something. Yep. And out of 2 minutes, there was at least 45 seconds of just silence, of just nothing and not even talking. And when he did talk, he just talked shit most of the time. And I'm watching his numbers, his viewing numbers go up and up and up every minute. Like, people are just loving this. I'm amazed at what people watch. Hey, people watch Joyce Mayer at 4 a.m, so... I have no idea who that is, but I guess some televangelist that sells prayer blankets and stuff. Yeah. So people will watch anything. People do. That's what I'm finding with this podcast. People are telling me, like, you know, you got to work out what your market is and everything. Yeah. 1% of the world's population is fucking huge. Yeah, exactly. So why not just be authentic and just be true to yourself? Yeah. And not worry about all that shit. Yeah. Like you said, people will listen to anything or watch anything. Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm struggling with at the moment. I mean, when you're doing performance, I mean, you need an audience. You want people to watch you. So you have to go out there and find those people and grab that community and sort of marshal them into a space and time where they watch you. Build a tribe. Yeah. And so you start to go down that path of marketing and finding your audience and talking to them. And then you all of a sudden go, oh, hang on a minute, now I'm not being authentic and I'm not just doing what I want to do, but I need to do this in order to get people to watch what I'm doing in the first place, which is... and I just go into spirals of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. I'm just throwing it out there. I figure my ultimate plan is to just do this for a few years, get a whole heap of knowledge or not knowledge about it, and then just be a consultant to other people. Normally I start off the interviews with people telling me what success means to them. What does success mean to you?
Well, I'll tell you what I don't think it is.
Yes.
I don't think it's an empirical thing. It's not like the North Star where it's a fixed point and there's an absolute reality to what success is. I know it's not that. Look, it's different things. I've been in this industry for 20 years and I'm still here. That's a success. I got my kids dressed and got off to school this morning on time before the bell went. That's a success. I don't know, I've performed all over the world, I've toured all over the world. That's a success. Am I where I want to be? Have I succeeded in the things that I really want to achieve? Probably not, so I haven't succeeded. I don't really know. I think it's subjective. I don't know. I've got a roof over my head and I can feed myself. That's a success.
Yep.
Have I achieved all the things I want to do? No. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't have an answer for you for that one.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. And, you know, when you have those bad days, there's usually someone in your life that goes, you know, at least you weren't hit by the bus.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an absence of failure. Maybe that's what it is. Success is an absence of failure.
And what's failure? What does failure mean to you? Maybe that's a better question to ask you. What does failure mean to you?
I guess someone asked me this the other day, actually. They said, what do you fear the most about hollering into the void? Like, what is the fear? And I guess it's, if you're a performer or in the entertainment area of any kind, it would be not having anyone listen or watch.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've faced the void.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all die alone.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You know? I think, and it comes out of nowhere, like you were saying before, you've just been hollering out of the void with your podcast. And all of a sudden there's little bits that start to get little toeholds on audiences, and people want to listen and they want to come on and they want to talk to you about it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, that's what I really wanted.
Yeah.
And I was just orchestrating that don't try thing. Like, that was just me saying that I'm not going to try was my way of saying, well, that works. I can be successful because of that.
Do you think we do that? That's a good question for you then. Do you think we do that as a way of mitigating failure? Like, I don't care about success, so it doesn't matter if I fail. Yeah. And that kind of protects you from oh fuck, I failed.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't handle failure very well, and when I do, I just escalate it. Yeah. This was a question I wanted to ask before. Would you get more nervous performing in front of a crowd of one person or performing in a crowd of 1,500 people?
Don't know. 1,500 people isn't as scary as it sounds because it's just an aggregate block of blah. Yeah. You can't pick anyone out individually. It's just a blank space. So there's some kind of safety in that. Yeah. I did a play a couple of years ago in a really intimate space where you could see the face of every single person in the audience of about 40 people. Yeah, that was probably a little bit more intimidating when I think about it that way, because you can directly see their face. Yeah. They're not lost in the darkness of the bleachers, especially people you know. Yeah. Because you never know whether they're watching you or they're watching you perform. You know, they're not really interested in anything you're doing. They just want to watch you. And
they want you to be successful. Yeah. They don't want you to fuck up. Yeah. Because then they feel it.
Yeah, exactly. And then because it's that relationship, and you can see that if you trip over a line or you fuck something up, and you see them wince, it just becomes like this reflective kind of process of, I fucked up, oh, you saw it, oh, no, oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes. You just, combust on stage. Yeah. Yeah. I think I like film for that reason.
Definitely. And you can edit that. Yeah. That's why the same with this compared to live stuff. One, I don't have to put my pants back on. Yeah. I've done it out of respect for you.
Yeah, oh, well, you didn't have to go to any trouble. Okay. When we are on the faff couch with Miley,
Mate, I've nutted out so many times on that couch. I think one time I nearly went blind.
I'm going to have to get a winch and I'm going to be stuck to the blanket. But yeah, at the same time, you've got to admit, live's pretty awesome too.
It is.
Live's fly by the seat of your pants. It's like, it's electric. You can't run and hide either.
My best shows are when you interact with the audience.
Yeah.
It's not about everyone stop what you're doing, look at what I'm doing in the spotlight. They're engaging in it. And I don't know, it becomes like a movement of energy.
Yeah.
Because they're part of the spotlight. It becomes like a dance floor rather than just a game of tennis.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
When I've got an audience of 0 to tens of people, I know that I can fuck up. No one's going to be present to see it fail. Whereas I've got, 1,500 people there. That's 1,500 people that are going to talk about how shit that show was afterwards.
Yeah. I think, though, too, I mean, it's a psychological mind fuck being a performance, isn't it? Performer is, but I think ultimately, and I tell this to students who are going up for auditions and things like that, is that it's scary, but you got to remember that whoever they are, they want you to be good. Like ultimately, they want you to be good. They want it. They want to go. That was money well spent. I wanted to go to a show and walk out feeling positive. Like an audience, you rarely perform to an audience that are sitting there gunning for you to fail. And I think if you can hang on to that the audience are going into this at the beginning saying, I want you to be good and entertain me. Yeah. Then you don't have to convince them, like they're already sort of primed for that. Yeah. So you can at least not worry about that. You know how you go into shops now? I went into a shop the other day and it had a sign up. There was a liquor store and it had a sign up that says, we have sort of top of the range surveillance cameras in this store. Yeah. And I thought, okay, I want to look around and see if I can find them. And I couldn't see them anywhere. And I thought, maybe they don't even have them. Maybe it's just enough to put a sign up that says we've got cameras watching you, and that's enough to go, okay, fair enough, I won't do anything.
Yeah, maybe a committee decided that.
Yeah, exactly. We can't afford the cameras, but we can afford to laminate half a dozen A4 sheets of paper and stick them around the store.
It's funny, we were in Centrelink the other day, and that guy got blasted online for being racist in the Centrelink line, and someone had filmed it. Yeah. But the funny thing is, due to privacy laws, not allowed to have cameras inside Centrelink. But what have we got? We've got fucking cameras.
Yeah, right.
We've got broadcasting rights.
Yeah.
It's just a weird time.
Yeah, you're right, it is. And I find this with all those institutes, they can't keep up with it. Because it's like the Wild West. I refer to it as like the Wild West online. It's just lawless, and there's some kind of rules. There might be a sheriff that comes in and sort of says, no, you can't do this or you can do that. But generally speaking, you can do whatever the hell you want. I love it when people go on Facebook and they say, this is my public Facebook account, you can't take my imagery and you can't do this, and they try and put up some sort of broadcast protection right for their Facebook account. I'm like, it's a fucking corporation, man. Yeah. Like, it's not a public notice board at your local shop. It's a corporate identity, and you've given them your profile. They can do with it what the hell they want. This idea between public and private, what you can and can't do, who lets you, who won't. I don't know whether you're finding it in your creative stuff, but it's harder and harder to use anyone else's content anymore. I was talking to a colleague of mine the other day. She did her PhD in Australian hip-hop. And I said, how do they do it? Yeah. Because they're always grabbing bits and relayering them and doing all that. And she said, well, back in the old days, like 10 years ago, they would just grab it, use it, and then if a problem came up, they would try and negotiate with whoever owned it. Nowadays, these big groups like the Hoods and all the rest of it, they have teams of people. So DJ Debris says, I want to use this track off of this album. They have a team of people that scour the world to see if anyone owns those rights and then negotiate it. And if they can't negotiate it for a reasonable amount, they have to go back to Debris and say, no, you can't use it, you've got to find another bit. Yeah. So
the art's in the paperwork, isn't it?
It is. It's in the law.
Yeah. I've set up an account at Claim Dispute, which is legal counsel, 140 characters or less.
Yeah.
So that's my lawyer.
Have you issued a writ yet?
What was that?
Have you issued a writ yet?
Oh, just basic,
Or is it enough?
Parking tickets and stuff.
Or is it like the sign in the liquor store? The fact that you've got a sign up that says, I have a lawyer, and everyone goes, oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right.
That's what you need to do. You need to create the illusion of success.
Yes, you do. And you can be. You can be online.
Thanks to the internet.
Thanks to the internet, you can be an absolute total bullshit artist.
Yes.
And earn a living out of it.
Well, that'd be nice. Well, I'm funded now.
Yeah, no, that's great.
We've got 9 months of runway.
You've got to go in concern.
Yeah.
You're going to open up on the share market soon.
I actually did think of being a proprietary limited company. But I thought, no, I'm going to start off as a sole trader.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're at risk of losing your assets in your house. I'm like, that's what I'm fucking doing, man. I'm trying to stop that from fucking happening.
Yeah. Have you seen what I've got? I'm trying not to lose it by doing this.
I've been worshipping Miley Cyrus for the last 2 fucking years.
Where's the payoff? Come on.
This is the Miley Lounge.
The Miley Lounge.
Tax purposes.
Only. Well, tax purposes for 80% of it. 20% of it's still for us.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think you can do, and that sort of. We started creating characters, like I was saying before. We started getting the actors to create online characters because we realised that audiences are going to struggle to sit down and watch a broadcast like they would a movie or a play.
Yeah.
Because being online, you're doing multiple things all the time, and it's about the story of the comment thread, the narrative that unravels. So we thought, okay, let's create characters that have their own online identity, and then we'll sort of develop stories with them tweeting each other or messaging each other, and it'll evolve. But one of the things that came out of it was, oh, that's all great, and we can do whatever. Like one of our characters, she's a yoga expert. She's like one of these yoga motivational people, right? She doesn't do yoga.
Yeah.
She's never done yoga. She's not really a fitness guru at all. What she does is she sets herself up and takes photos that looks like it is, and she's getting followers.
Great.
It's fantastic. But then we kind of realised, some of these actors work with children and they work in other sort of areas and stuff. Oh, now we've got to sort of create this delineation because people are stupid online. Yep. They don't read. They don't really look at the details. Mm-hmm. They just take anything at face value. So we're in this place of going, these characters are great because they're liberating and we can say whatever the fuck we want and do whatever we want. But then there's a real world kind of backlash that's potential from it as well.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
How do you navigate that little, and then if you sort of reveal that this character you're following is a character and not a real person, then does that dissipate the effect of creating an illusion?
Maybe just disconnect from Facebook. Maybe that's the answer.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it strikes me every time I get on my phone and I go through Facebook and I go, fuck, I'm here again. I'm shit.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
I was just scrolling.
Yeah, just all goes by, and all of a sudden 20 minutes have gone by, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't feel any more fulfilled. I don't feel like I've learnt anything. I feel like I've wasted 20 minutes. And I've got angry because someone posted some shit comment about some shit thing, and now I'm angry about something if I just hadn't bothered looking at it.
I'm going to provide an alternative service. I don't know how much it is to register a 1300 number, but I want to do 13, get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Which is basically you just have a team of people on the phones, kind of like.
Yeah.
But instead, people just want to start an argument with you.
Yeah.
Right. Hang on, man. We got just got this really bad hum just come in.
Oh,
that was me.
oh.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right.
I'm going to edit out a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in there, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, do what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm just finding it's getting a lot of clicking from this action design.
I'll hold it up here. How's that?
Yeah.
Is it better if I hold it away or try and hold it and not make it?
Yeah, maybe just try and hold it. Yeah, like that.
Like that?
Yeah, that's heaps better.
That's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just tape them or something.
Bit of gaffer.
Yeah, that'll do.
All together. Where are we?
Do you do any characters?
No, I haven't done any yet. I've thought about it, but I think just with coordinating workshops and doing the research and the PhD, like my head's just full enough as it is without investing any more time in trying to develop something. We were talking about getting each of our actors to do like a webinar or a little live stream of something that they're just personally interested in, like cooking or gaming or whatever. And I thought about it, I thought, I don't actually have anything I like, or I read. Well, that's not really worth streaming.
Yeah.
I do gardening a bit every now and then. Well, that's probably maybe interesting to some people.
I think when I first met you, you did a character called Malcolm with Matt Holmes. Crooked.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
That was hilarious.
Oh, he was the stoner, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the stoner.
He had the long hair and he was the aliens and shit. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, that's right. I guess I could do something like that. That was fun too.
Yeah, that was you were really good at that character. We did the job interviews.
That's right, the job interviews. And he turned up and he talked about alien abduction. That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Oh, wow. That was kind of like this, wasn't it? That was just that kind of free form.
Yeah. It was ahead of its time. It was before all the... If we were doing that in the last 5 years...
Yeah.
And my performances were shit. Like, I went to put it on Channel 44 last year just to give it some airtime. And my friend was doing it. I couldn't watch Spam. I did a little Boy Scout character.
Yeah, that's right. And he was a bit of a...
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I couldn't watch myself.
Yeah. I reckon you're right. I reckon it was a great idea, but it was probably an idea for this online format than it was for a pre-filmed and edited together kind of...
It was even before ABC 2 and 3, because nowadays we were pushing it for the networks straight up, but the networks just weren't ready for it.
Yeah. Now they might be.
Well, they would be. Yeah, that's what I was saying. We did it too early. I mean, it wasn't a huge loss apart from our time. I think I personally put back $500 of my dad's money into it.
Yeah.
But you can imagine billion-dollar companies that lost millions for the same of releasing too early.
Yeah.
The same, kind of the same problem that we had.
Yeah.
On a much lower scale.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it still costs money in filming, it still costs money in all the technical stuff.
Yes.
Whereas nowadays you could just get a webcam and a computer and a laptop and go, right, we're going to film it on the Miley Lounge.
Yeah.
And here we go, done. And it's up.
Which is why you need to do that marketing bullshit side of it that we were saying before. It's fun just to keep putting it out in the void.
Yeah.
You know, people will watch it, but I don't want those people. I want those people that are going to get their fucking wallets out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want those people to listen to my podcasts.
Yeah.
Fucking acquire me, motherfuckers.
Buy me.
I don't know, man. I'm actually nervous. I'm not nervous on stage. I'm just nervous generally in life.
Yeah.
Like, life's scaring me.
Yeah.
It's like when I was saying, like, my mentor, I'm going to sound like a complete wanker here, but I don't get nervous performing anymore. And he says, you were shaking in the interview.
Yeah, right.
And I said, which is true.
Maybe you not being nervous. You imagine what you would have done if you were nervous. Lost your bowels on the floor or something, you know? You're actually really composed that day.
Yeah, you were so right. I was out of bed. That was a start.
You made it.
Yeah.
Out the door.
I got my coffee and I got my little briefcase together and I sent an Uber out. It was a 3-step process of leaving the house. That was hard work.
That's a success.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And God damn it, why should you have to go through any of that anyway in this forum? You know, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Skype it.
Get out your wallets, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I could be potentially award-winning.
You've been nominated.
I've been nominated for an award.
Man. An award-nominated
for the Australian Podcast Festival.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Does that mean you get to go to the ARIAs or something? Like, do you get a red carpet or a virtual red carpet? Like,
well, they've set up their own little red carpet.
So you're going to turn up with your sunglasses and your...
I think I'll turn up in carry. Oh, it'll be like Norman Gunston.
You need to turn up.
Yeah.
You need to get a Miley thing, like, and just sort of attach it to your suit or your jacket or your shirt, such that she's just sort of whispering into your ear. So that wherever you go, wherever someone takes a photo of you, it always will look like Miley's photobombing shot.
Yeah.
And just whispering sweet nothings into your ear. Wherever you turn, look awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd go alongside my hashtag Miley Says, because everything Miley says
comes directly
from
to you.
Directly to me.
Out into the mic.
Yeah.
And you'll get so many photos because everyone will go, who is this person turning up with Miley?
Yeah, I like it. It's a great idea.
Yeah. What was that, Miley? She doesn't want to talk at the moment.
Yeah.
She just wants to talk to me.
It's actually funny though, because after I started getting full on with the Miley stuff, when I'd leave the house, very rarely, people would ask, how's Miley, or where's Miley?
Oh, you're known for Miley. Absolutely. No, it's a real thing.
I'll just go with it.
And it becomes, like you say, expected.
Yeah.
People start to morph what you do with who you are.
I actually got off on the fact that I wouldn't mention it at that time, where it was like I was doing 5 or 6 updates a day, and I'd go out in the real world and wouldn't even mention it unless other people did.
Yeah.
And I could actually see people being confused by that.
Yeah.
They're saying, oh, hang on, he's not completely losing his fucking mind.
Yeah.
I actually did physically, like about 5 years ago, I did fucking lose my mind, and I was in a wheelchair afterwards. Yeah. I can't remember it, but apparently I would just keep cutting back in. Like I would just go off on a different planet, but I'd just keep cutting back in and have normal conversations.
Yeah, right.
And then just go back on the planet again.
Yeah, right.
It was kind of like walking past the security guard and going, no, I'm straight, bro. Like trying to act sober.
Yeah.
Power of the mind.
It is, definitely. Oh, man, go on ad infinitum about how anthropologists think about how all of that stuff works. But you'd have to come and do a course and pay me. I don't know. I found it interesting when you approached me to come and do this. You know, because you approached me and said, I want to talk to you about the online theatre stuff that you're doing and all of that sort of stuff. And it was like, oh, wow. I don't think we'd ever had any direct interaction with that content. We'd spoken about other stuff, but it was almost like a surprise that you were even aware of it. And it made me kind of go, oh, people are aware of it.
Yeah,
they do know what you're doing. And I get people every now and then who ask me about it. And I'm like, oh, right, I've never had any engagement with you about it before. I didn't even think you'd even knew that I was doing it. But they do get an awareness of it.
Did you feel encouraged by that?
Yeah, I did actually.
You should. Yeah. People are flying on the walls to what you're doing, and they do keep up with it, but
Even
they don't engage.
Yeah. And that's where it feels like you're hollering into the void, you're screaming into the noise, and you don't know. That's the whole point of being a performer of any stage, isn't it? Is that you need something back from an audience.
You don't know, mate. You don't. Just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing good.
Yeah.
Just get Miley to tell you. Miley tells me all the time that, Rowan, you're doing a really good job. And that's all I need. Just that can be made up.
I love the photos you've got with her, that you've worked yourself into the photos with her. They would be an inspiration. You know, when you're feeling down, you can just look up and you go, I remember the time I took that photo, that promotional shot for my girl.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It was actually funny because amongst the darkest points in my life, you know, nearly dying is scary. I was on a completely different planet. I was highly medicated at the time. But when you've got the financial issues and you're feeling like you're getting totally disenfranchised and fucked over, and then billed for the privilege of it.
Yeah.
It's like being in jail and having to
pay for the cell.
Yeah, having to pay for the cell.
Yeah.
I actually did find comfort in that.
Yep.
It started as a bit of a joke. I've got no music taste. Miley Cyrus it is. And I did actually immerse myself in that world.
Yeah.
It became real.
Yeah. Did you find it easier to, I guess, like you said, you kind of picked Miley as the thing that you were doing. What's the question I'm trying to ask? Did you find it easier to post about a subject that you personally felt a little bit distant from, rather than post about stuff that's personal to you?
Yes. It was a distraction from the personal issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about this stuff. Even when I was completely sick, I didn't get my phone out. I didn't take a single photograph. I didn't want to talk about that, so this was a distraction from that.
Yeah, right.
At the same time, I could use the same emotion.
And project it was like, onto that.
Yeah, it was a cry for help.
Yeah.
Help me, I'm struggling, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's personal. It's none of your fucking business.
And isn't that funny online? Because that's what people seem to use it for all the time, to talk about.
Yeah, I did a poo today.
Yeah. Here's a photo. I put it on Instagram. Hashtag shit in a bowl. You know, I've started writing a blog, which was originally just it was more for me to record field notes through the research, to go, right, this week these are the thoughts that have been going on in my head. I just want to write a blog, something that I could come back later and look at when I'm doing the analysis. And then I started to notice people were following it or reading it, but I wasn't really sure whether they were or whether it was just bots.
Yeah.
And so that started to change the way I started writing about it. And then I started to promote it to try and build that community and, you know, tweet and all the rest of it. And then a few weeks ago, I had a really shit month, just really life, you know, rained down shit on me. In a dark place.
Yeah.
And I thought, I want to write about it. And I want to write about it here because it's part of my experience. But I found that it was a blog post that I didn't promote. I didn't tell anyone that I'd posted it. I just put it up there and I let it go and I walked away. And I've since noticed, because it's the beauty of this stuff, and I don't know whether it's good or bad, but you can go back in and you can see how old posts track.
Yes.
And it kind of picks up its own numbers. And I was watching this sort of fascinating thing happening with the numbers. And it's weird because my only reference to whether it's reached anyone is reading numbers of analytics.
Yep.
And I don't know whether that makes me feel better that it's reaching people or makes me feel worse because it was just something I wanted to write and get out for myself. I do notice, though, that when you write personal things,
yeah,
your hits generally go through the roof.
Yeah.
When you write about stuff you're trying to promote or stuff you're trying to do or get people involved in,
yeah,
crickets. But if you write, I'm having a shit day, people pile on.
Yeah, people are craving for that authenticity.
Yeah.
They want to identify with you and know that they're not alone.
Yeah, it is a fear for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly checking myself. Am I saying the right thing? Was that inappropriate? Oh, it's a social industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not an industry that's based on merit. It's an industry that's based on, you know, who you know, what social networks you mix with and all of that sort of stuff. Which is kind of liberating about the online stuff as well. There's that when you do get followers, when you do get nominations, it's because that's a reflection of people out there actually interested in what you're doing. The merits of what you're doing, not the relationships you have. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm doing anthropology, because I don't fucking know. I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that you can't be a non-social human. You just can't. It doesn't exist. A non-social human doesn't exist.
Interesting.
That in any way, shape or form, your identity is shaped by the relationship you have with at least one other person.
Okay. So why do people want to be left alone? I was at a period in my life where I was sick. I'm like, just fuck off and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from?
I think that becomes... Okay, I'll get theoretical with you for a moment. There's a guy called Bates, and he's an anthropologist, and he said he used this idea that we all wear different masks, or to think of it another way, like imagine a scaffolding on the side of a building.
I can imagine. I can see one
right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're the worker up on the scaffolding, and you can run over here and you can poke your head out this side, or you can run down here and you can poke your head out on this side. And every place that you stick your head out is kind of a mask that you have for other people. So you are a son to your dad, you are a brother to your sister, you are an uncle to your nephew. You have a different face or a different character based on the relationship you have with each person at any particular time.
Yep.
And I think that people get to that point where fuck off, I don't want to have anyone around anymore, is that you can kind of get burdened by constantly being a different face. Like, when are you ever yourself? It begs the question, when are you ever yourself? Because as soon as you're in a relationship with one other person, you're putting something on, or you're talking in a certain way, or you're doing, and maybe just that gets like, you know, I'm tired of, I get like that, I'm tired of just having to be this person, to be this responsible, or to answer that question, or to do this thing. I just want to not engage with anyone.
Okay.
I reckon that might be part of it, but ultimately you always come back out, don't you?
Yeah.
Even if you go there for a while, you find yourself going, oh, I need to talk to someone, or I need to communicate with someone, or just engage with someone at the shop, or you need to do something.
See an old friend and have a great conversation.
Because it then validates who you are. It validates your identity. I think we get lost in that a little bit, and that's why we just need to add that time out, that downtime where you don't have to be that for anyone. And online, it just does my head in. I don't know what I'm meant to be online. Am I meant to be me? Am I meant to be projecting something else? Someone said to me the other day, why don't you just write how you feel online? Like it was a novel idea, because I'd found that I'd got myself caught up in the projecting the image of Michael Allen Productions, or projecting the image of the anthropologist Michael Allen, or I got caught up in that, and I felt like I couldn't actually post what I wanted, what I really thought.
That's what LinkedIn's for, though.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Yeah, it's stuff you can and can't post on there. But then if someone on LinkedIn and your professional site saw the thing that you posted on Facebook, would they then go, oh, you know, they're not really the person they say they are? Of course they're not the person they say they are. Yeah. Projected on internet.
Yeah.
Does my head in. Freaks me out. I go back to my garden, smoke a...
Maybe you just need to disconnect for a while.
Yeah. I think I need to disconnect more often than I connect.
Yeah. I'm really fucking nervous. I've got my first corporate next week, but I think it's because it's something new, and I haven't written it yet. And my last gig was shit as well. Like, if I have a really shit gig, it's really hard to break out of that.
Yeah.
Like, when you've got the momentum, you just keep nailing it, getting better each time.
Yeah.
I was doing that, but then I just had one where I was...
Crashed and burned.
Was nervous when people that I know are there.
Yeah.
I want a group of strangers to come in, and I wanted to create a meltdown and film it and make it interesting.
Yeah.
And, oh man, that didn't go to plan.
Yeah. And that's because you are having to project a face based on the relationship with your family here at almost simultaneously as you're presenting this face over here.
Yeah.
And there becomes a schism in the middle where you go, oh.
Yeah, Kanye West moment.
Yeah.
Just fucking glitched. Yeah.
Brain fart. And then that momentum drops.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes crashing down. Yeah. I know that feeling.
And I can't swear. I'm not allowed to swear in this.
Yeah, right.
So what I'm going to do is set up my booth, and this is my marketing material presented on a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Brilliant.
And it's got a little Miley Cyrus Easter egg on it. So if anyone happens to find a floppy drive, they'll put it in, and they'll see a picture of me and Miley. But this is my business card.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I've got little cassette tapes as well.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm going to have the Attitude Consultant's greatest hits on cassette.
Yeah.
Hipsters will love that shit.
Yeah. Podcast episode 3 on an old Technics.
Yeah, I've got a little boom box, so I'm going to do a high-speed dubbing record.
That's great. I saw one of those Facebook memes the other day that said Attitude Consultant. Brilliant. On a packet of matches.
They're yours.
No one does it on matches anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. You were about to say something.
No, I saw one of those Facebook memes. You know, who knows if they're true or not. But it was this kid who said, "Oh, that's really cool. You did a 3D printing of the save symbol." When they saw a floppy disk.
The save symbol. Yeah, that came from something, mate.
Yeah. The reason it's the symbol.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around.
I can't understand. Like, I take it for granted that I wasn't born into the internet. Like, the last 20 years just flown past. It's crazy that people wouldn't even know what these devices are. I can't handle that.
I know. I teach at uni, and it's always good to try and get that cultural reference balance point. Where is everyone? You know?
Yeah.
And when I think about it, what are we, 2018 now?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get students through who were born this century, that they don't know a world without the internet. They don't know a world without a mobile phone. I remember talking to my 7-year-old about the old dial phone.
Yeah.
And this is what we used to do with it, and this is how you had to make a phone call, and she thought it was like, wow.
Yeah.
And we're not digital natives. That's what I think most of my ensemble at the moment, apart from maybe a couple who are in their early 20s, most of us are older, into our late 30s and 40s, and we're not digital natives at all. So when we go into this world of making work online, we sit there and scratch our heads about how this thing works and how that profile works and what are you meant to do on that, and well, you just post photos of stuff. But I've got nothing to post. I can't think of anything to post. Why would I bother posting? We have to stop ourselves and go, yeah, we know to us that's boring and innocuous crap, but for these people, that is what they're interested in and they want to look at. It's like really bizarre to me.
Yeah, they teach coding in primary school.
Yeah.
We got a fucking pen license.
Yeah, that's right. You graduated from pencil to biro to Bic. I went into the classroom last night for parent-teacher things, and they've got iPads everywhere, and they've got, those digital projector boards that then print out what they have on them, and they got speakers all around the room to help with kids sitting at the back of the class who can't hear properly, and the whole room is just digitally set up. I sit there and I go, man, this was the stuff in fantasy books when I was a kid.
Yeah.
In the future, classrooms will look like this. Well, here we are, and they look like this, and my kid's growing up in it.
It's crazy. Do you reckon we're just going to be laying in beds just wired up into the virtual world?
I reckon probably. Have you seen is it WALL-E? The movie WALL-E?
Oh, a little bit briefly on a plane. I didn't watch it.
Something? I don't know.
I know the one you're talking about.
And there's the captain of the ship, and he's just this fat, bloated, overweight in this floating chair, and he doesn't have to do anything anymore. Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, look at it. It's happening now, isn't it? People run for fun. You run for fun because... who would run for fun?
No, that's nothing fun about it.
Run because you have to be somewhere, you have to do something. If you want to be somewhere, you just Uber it.
Yeah.
So when do I run? Oh, I better do that for fun then. Scary. A friend of mine said the other day, her daughter was at school, I was telling her about jobs that she could do when she grows up. You could do this or you could do that, and they're all very conventional jobs. And I said, man, for the time they graduate, they'll be doing jobs in careers with technology that hasn't even been invented yet.
Yeah.
It's moving that quick. My kids teach their grandparents how to use the Apple TV. It's great. Dad sits there going, I don't bloody know how to do it. What do I want to do it for?
Yeah.
And 7-year-old comes up and says, there you go, done. Great.
Swipe left, swipe right. Kids will go up and start touching the screens of the TV.
Talking to a 20-something-year-old a while ago, she was a makeup artist on a thing, and she said she didn't believe in romance anymore. The concept of romance or finding love in that probably conventional way that we're brought up with, that was as foreign a concept to her as Tinder is for us or me, you know what I mean? That idea that you date by swiping left or right, or I still don't even understand how it works, that's just what I've heard. But the idea of actually meeting someone and going out for a while and getting to know them and doing all that, at 22 or something, she had resigned herself to the fact that wouldn't be her life. That would never happen to her. That's just not how life works. That's something you read about in books from the past.
Oh, it is romantic.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, because it doesn't exist anymore.
It was like that latest Black Mirror episode. What another example I can think of is the new Bachelor.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it.
It's all the Bachelor rejects in the same mansion together, where the rose ceremonies are just business transactions. This is totally short term, but I'm going to give you this rose, so we get to stay in the competition. But you're my third choice, and they know that, so their egos are all playing up on that. But real emotions are coming into it.
Yeah.
You can play the game, man. It's a fucking game.
And it's totally constructed.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I'm not saying that the emotions aren't genuine, because you feel emotional pressure based on whatever situation you're in. But the situation that they're in has been totally engineered.
Yeah.
It doesn't then become a question of what you can do about the situation you're in.
Yeah.
It's about looking for a tool or a device or an app that can solve the problem or the dilemma that you're having.
Yes.
Is there a tool out there that will answer the question, or a tool out there that will tell me which way to go, or make it easier? I don't have to think and contemplate, I just have to swipe left. I did a play with a guy, a local writer here, Ben Brooker, a couple of years ago, and he wrote this little piece, an old couple in a home, and they're just sitting on the couch, and they're waiting for a delivery. A home delivery of some kind, and their daughter is in their room. You never see her, she's in a room, and they've never seen her either, but they're waiting for this delivery, and it turns out that they're waiting for this kidney delivery of one of the characters who's on dialysis or whatever it is. And it's not like it's the first time, it's like this is the 5th or 6th time, and the old, the wife saying, don't leave it too late, remember last time you left it too late and we almost didn't make it, no, I'll be all right, and they're sitting there waiting for it, and they're just waiting. So the implication is that you can just, this kidney's nearly packed up, better put in an order for another one, it'll get Ubered over, and somehow or another it'll just happen, and the other one will go, and it's all drones, and a little bit Black Mirror like that. Eventually you'll just sit at home and not have to do anything, because even your kidney transplant can be done by Uber.
Wow.
Uber Eats.
Yeah. Do you think people are going to start living to be hundreds of years old?
Yeah, but it begs the question, what are you going to do when you're that old? You know, I mean, you're going to exist. What are you going to do? What's your quality of life going to be? I don't know that I can fucking hang around that long. Jesus, I get bored.
Do you get bored easy?
Yeah, I get bored easy.
See, I don't.
I get bored, but I find other things to do, so...
What is boredom?
Boredom is, for me, I think, feeling that I can't achieve any more out of the thing that I'm doing. It's not stimulating my thinking about something. Yeah, I've done that. I've got nothing more to learn out of that. Or I've experienced that. Yeah, we're just going around in a circle now. Yeah, been here, done that. What's next? I think that's partly why I got into online theatre, because there was an element of conventional theatre that was kind of boring. You know, I kept getting approached to do another play, and I still love doing it, don't get me wrong, but then you keep getting approached to do stuff and you go, right, okay, so here's the play, now I've got to cast it, now I've got to break it down into its scenes, and now I've got to do this, and here's the process, and and you kind of go through the routine, and you get to the end, and you go, tick, I've done it, and then you get the next job, and you go on and you do the same thing again. It's like, I've been here and I've done that. It's
Groundhog Day.
It is a little bit Groundhog Day. I'm bored. Where's the challenge? I guess that's where it is. It becomes boring when there's no challenge.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to find that thing that hasn't been done before, and that's been a blessing and a curse over the years. Whereas it's probably a sound decision to do the same thing and be better about it and hone it, and this is the convention and stick with that. I go, nah, I'm bored with that. It's been done. It's too easy.
I'm told that in order to learn a new skill, you need to just keep honing in on it.
Yeah.
And then I've also heard that failure is equal to success.
Well, it's equal to success. You don't succeed without failing. I know that. There's no way, because you don't know what success is until you've failed. They need each other.
Yeah, that's true.
You need to know what failure is to know what the success is.
Like comedy and sadness, I guess.
Yeah. If you don't have that
point of reference,
then you don't really understand what you're doing, probably, or why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think it helps you reflect on that, helps you focus.
It's interesting, like I got this crazy weird virus. I ended up being diagnosed encephalitis.
Shit.
Which is like encephalitis and meningitis. Basically, the immune system attacked my brain. I actually think where it came from was stress-related, completely lacking purpose in my life.
Yeah.
Like not having an identity, feeling that I didn't belong to anything. And my whole mind just shut down because of that.
A little state of existential crisis.
Of extreme boredom.
What does anything mean?
Oh, all of that.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. I feel like that almost all the time.
Right.
I think, especially creatively,
yeah,
I'm like, what's the fucking point? It's just piss and wind. Like, you're putting in time and effort and thinking about this corporate gig that's coming up for a bunch of people for whom it will be half an hour or whatever it is out of their lives, and they'll wake up the next morning and go, yeah, that was good, back into the slow grind of work. Yeah, you have that little existential, I'm going through all of this effort for an experience that, if it's done well, you will think nothing of it tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
if I do it badly, you'll be talking about it for the next week.
The reason I'm nervous is because it can't go bad. It has to go well. Because it's my engine running this thing. It's what's keeping my house alive.
Yeah.
It's what I've presented myself as a business model that generates income.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go, I'm going to make an award-winning podcast.
Yeah.
That's great, but I've got to fucking pay my bills.
Yeah.
And I've been applying for jobs, rejected for all these jobs. I was happy to work it as a barista, but no one's giving me work.
So you've got to dance for the corporates.
Yeah, I've got to put on the monkey suit.
Yeah, and they just sort of throw you shekels.
Well, I'm doing it for free. That's the whole point. I'm doing it for networking. I'm doing it to build up jobs.
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk about being successful, but it's another thing to actually walk it.
It gets that balance of what is success, isn't it?
It's presenting success, but at the same time, I'm creating a brand where I don't even know what the product is.
Yeah.
The product is my story.
Yeah. No, I hear exactly what you're saying. I'm creating an identity, and I'm creating a corporate success model, and I'm projecting and presenting this image that is not hollow, but it's certainly not maybe everything I'm presenting it to be.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you too can be as successful as me. I really need your help right now. Anyone, if you're happy just to give me a job.
Yeah, and I get sick of that panhandling.
Lisa, I want some more.
I found that when I came back from Edinburgh. I went to Edinburgh in 2010 with a show. I wasn't the first independent producer to take a show to Edinburgh from Adelaide, but I was one of the first few. Nowadays, more and more people are doing it. Back in 2010, there weren't very many people doing it at all, if any, really. And I came back, we got 5-star reviews, and we got standing ovations, and it was really good to go, I'm a little Adelaide director, you know, how's my work going to go on the international stage? Oh, actually, they like it, and they think it's as good as anything over there. And then you come back, and you go, hey, I've done this thing and I've actually achieved something, and there's something tangible there that you can look at, and it's like you just have to start from scratch again and go, okay, well, what's next? And you go to the producer and you say, I want to put this play on, and then you have to argue that it's worth it and it's done this, and it's like, I don't want to rest on my laurels or anything, and I don't want to be an arrogant prick, but I've just done this off my own back and it was successful.
Yes.
And I'm still here saying to you, please give me a handout.
Lisa, I want some more.
Yeah, we're taught to be bold and take risks, but at the same time, people don't want to invest in a risk.
No, I know.
How do you balance that?
Yeah. You've got to be dynamic and interesting and original and unique, but do it in such a way that it's a really conventional way of doing it so that we feel safe.
Yeah, that's it.
And what is work when you're trying to figure out who you are, and it's just a journey in the first place? I actually have you looked at these things called Patreon? Or
a lot of people tell me about it. I haven't even looked into it.
I really like the idea. It changes it up a little bit. It says, I'm not going to pay you for the content that you produce. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay you a little bit every month, like a subscription thing, and I'll just consume whatever content you make. So it's almost like I'm paying you because I believe in the value of whatever you create. Yep. Rather than I'm paying for the thing that you created, the artefact that you created.
Investing in people, not products.
Exactly, and I really like that model. It's a different model, but it does then require you to make more content. Like as a subscription, for $5 you'll get this, for $10 you'll get this, for $20 you'll get this. So you've got to be thinking ahead of content you're going to be producing, and you kind of get into that circle a little bit again. Yeah. But the principle of I support the maker of stuff rather than buying the thing that they've made.
Well, that'd be perfect for me because this product's writing itself.
Yeah.
All I have to do is just keep recording.
Yeah, exactly. And you're doing it all the time anyway, with your Miley stuff and this stuff and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Are you on it?
I've wanted to get on it, but I've hesitated because I'm not producing as prolifically as you, because I'm studying and I'm teaching and I'm doing other things, and so I don't find that I've got the time to constantly be.
You don't have the focus.
Yeah. A little bit split focus to be able to keep doing stuff.
That's a seasonal thing, though.
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to just enjoying where you are, because we forget about living in the moment.
You do.
You know what? I've been through a lot of shit in the last few years, but fuck, I'm going to miss it, and I forget that. Yeah. And to come out the other side, I take for granted the amount of mental power and resilience that I've shown.
Absolutely.
I forget all that.
Yeah. And we always worry about what the next thing is we don't have.
Yeah, or reflect on the things we've lost.
Yeah, but like say resilience to get through the other side of journeys that you've been through, that's massive, and it's no small thing. And I think this is where the Patreon sort of model might be good for people like us, because it does say that they believe in the journey of you, not the thing that you made necessarily.
I'm sorry, Michael, we're going to have to finish it in a sec. And I think to end on, to encourage you as well, you may feel that you're a bit split-focused. Yeah. But that's your backstory, that's your journey, that's your experience. Yeah. And like you said before, when you're doing a personal blog, people listen and people pay attention to that. Just record that. Yeah. And if you do feel like you're a little bit split personality, that's fine.
Be happy with that.
Be happy with that, yeah. And don't be afraid to say, well, I'm losing my fucking mind. Yeah. Because people love watching that.
It's a blood sport, isn't it?
It is. People love train wrecks as well.
They'll slow down to look at the accident.
Well, that's why I love Miley. When,
Yeah.
she did her VMA presentation 2013, when I'm in a fucking wheelchair, just staring up at her, completely not give a fuck. I thought that's great. That's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love her.
Good call. That's been good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for chatting.
Likewise, it's been great to catch up. We'll like each other's posts.
Yeah, make sure you do that.
Yeah.
If you have enjoyed the Attitude Consultant, make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember to give me 5 stars. Don't give 1 star, give a 5-star review. I'm also on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. And remember, leave comments below. This has been the Attitude Consultant. Michael Allen, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate.
Consulted.
Is there anything you want to plug?
I do a weekly workshop streaming of our ensemble on Fridays on Twitch. You can find us at the MAP_T4D is our little handle. That if you go on Twitch as a site, you'll find us there, and we're hopefully putting more content up soon.
Check it out on Twitch. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Attitude Consultant is produced by Ryan Hollering and distributed by the ACST Network.